I want to welcome you to this morning's sitting. I know it is unusual that we sit on Fridays, but because of the timelines, you have to bear with me. Honorable members, you recall, we had a malaria awareness walk on 20th April 2024, which was graced by the Deputy Speaker. And in this walk, remember we discussed here, and it was brought by Honorable Christine, in charge of environment on this side, on the issues of neem trees, that as Parliament we should be able to encourage our locals, our voters, to plant neem trees. And I am happy that we've been able to get some neem trees, which are in the compound, parking compound here. When you live here, as you go for recess, if we are going for recess, take some of those neem trees and be an example to our people. Ensure that you plant, they are watered, and they grow. They can help in reducing the mosquitoes. Honorable members, today is a World Press Freedom Day. It is a day that is set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to raise awareness on the importance of freedom of the press and remind governments of their duty to respect and uphold the right of freedom of expression, which is enshrined under Article 19 of 1948 Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. These principles are adequately domesticated in Article 29 of the 1995 Constitution. The theme of this year is Journalism is a Face of Environmental Crisis. This theme coincides with the various environmental changes that have affected so many areas, especially in East Africa and Eastern Uganda in the recent past. I take this opportunity to reiterate the commitment of Parliament in protecting the freedom of expression. And that's why you see we have so many journalists in this house. And journalists, please ensure, Honorable Semuju, ensure that that article is not abused. I wish the entire Fourth Estate a pleasant celebration of the World Press Freedom Day. Honorable members, you can't even clap for Fourth Estate. Honorable members must be aware that the UK government, through a media communication, and I'm saying media communication, dated 30th April 2024, reportedly imposed some sanctions on myself and two former ministers. The ministers who were in court, purportedly on allegation of corruption, and the sanction led to travel ban and freeze of assets. I am told I have so many assets in UK and a lot of accounts in UK. Unfortunately, I've only been in UK once. I don't even have a postcard in UK. Honorable members, these sanctions are politically motivated. The bill that you passed in this house, we are carrying a cross. I am carrying a cross for the 48 million Ugandans. The LGBTQ Act, the Anti-Homosexuality Act, the law, is what is causing all this. This may not be the only banner. Another one will come. In the pretext of corruption, theft, all those kind of things will come. But we serve a living God. We serve a living God, and we will always not allow bomb shafters in Uganda. If they want to do, let them do in their bedrooms, not in public. The law is there, it will be implemented. Let whoever feels the heart, let them go ahead. Me, I don't need to go here. I have said I have a passport, permanent passport, to Bukedea and to Buyende. I don't need a visa. So, honorable members, you need to be very firm and fight for your people. Just imagine it is your kid who is being sodomized tomorrow. But I am telling you, those sanctions, I have had an interaction, and we've gotten to know all what the sanctions are about, which the Minister of Foreign Affairs is here, and at an appropriate time, the head of state will also respond to it, because that is an indictment to Parliament of Uganda. You did pass the law yourselves. Me, I didn't even vote. I chaired, and you voted. So, I am not worried. And if they feel I have property, go and freeze them and see if I will complain. Even a postcard you can. I would like to categorically tell you that international backlash will continue. But one thing we need to do is to have respect for each other, respect for people's values, the traditions, the cultures of countries. We're a sovereign country. And those who are writing reports are writing reports because they want to do accountability. They want to do accountability. I have not said enough. I have not said it. She did not. I will one day allow you people to start boxing. Honorable members, we need to safeguard the sanctity of this house, of this country. If we cannot do that, then we will not be doing what is expected of us. And whatever we are doing for the 48 million Ugandans out there. And in a special note, I really want to thank Parliament of Uganda for passing that law. I want to thank the religious leaders. I want to thank judiciary for upholding the decision. I want to thank the president for assenting to that law. That shows you how much he values the family values. And I want to thank all the Ugandans Honorable members, there is an outcry, much as we passed the law on fisheries. I got a team yesterday that somebody was killed in Ingo landing site, a fisherman. As government, maybe you need to come in and see the enforceability of the law that was passed by this House. Because the people who are being killed are our people. Those are the same people who will vote for us tomorrow. So we need we need a response to that effect. Because it is not only in one island that they are complaining, not only in one fishing area. You will find that Honorable Mulimba, he just can't talk because he's a minister, but he's suffering down there in his place, but we'll need a response from government to that effect. Today we are going to look at the tax bills. And as you are aware, we are in the tail end of the budgeting. And remember, I told you, we've already gazetted 13th for budget reading, 13th June. So we should be able to look at where we are getting the money from for us to be able to fund the budget that we are talking about. Let's look at where money is coming from, and then we will appropriate that money effectively. We will want to get a statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Chief Diplomat. Some of us may not be diplomats, but we will want to get a statement from the Chief Diplomat, and we'll also hear from the leader of opposition on the press. I think he has a message for the press, today being the press day. Yes, Honorable Call.
My constituency, and I got a call from the press, especially New Vision, asking me about it. And I thought they were mistaken, because to the best of my knowledge, our work as Parliament of Uganda, we allocate resources to the ministries, to the Prime Minister's office, and to different departments of Uganda. And the major people who should be questioned on this issue of the iron sheet are people who are tasked with the responsibility of implementing the resources that we allocated for this particular issue. First of all, the sign that we allocated the resources is a clear sign that this Parliament is committed to solve the problem of the Karamojong people. And therefore, I was wondering how you can sanction the head of Parliament and you forget people who are in charge of implementation. In this case, the ministers, I don't have a problem when they are talking about the ministers. I don't have a problem if you could talk about the office of the Prime Minister. But how, of all things, you come to give sanction on the head of institution of Parliament, who are the people concerned, and this issue was raised in this Parliament. The issue about who is a beneficiary should be the implementing people, not us who are concerned in monitoring what was not done rightly, and that is how the issue was brought to the concern of this one. And therefore, I think it is the right time for our Minister of Foreign Affairs and for the head of state to make sure we get serious as a country so that our sovereignty should be protected as a country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll be making a statement. I really think it's important because this is a matter that really touches on our diplomatic relations. And for purposes of just avoiding uncoordinated troop movements, it will be important that government states its position early enough to guide the debate and discussion. Otherwise, there is a very big likelihood of creating a diplomatic imbroglio arising out of the statements that we may make. Right, Honourable Speaker, for me, at the risk of anticipating what is in the statement, at the risk, the UK has a right to sanction anybody. It's really their right. And I don't think anybody should be concerned or bothered. Let them sanction whoever they want. It is really their sovereign right. But what should also happen is that they should respect the sovereign right of other countries. Because you see, you run a risk. You run a risk. I am on procedure. You run a risk. You run a risk, right, Honourable Speaker. We run a risk. We run a risk of undermining each other. So, right, Honourable Speaker, the procedural issue I raise is whether it is not procedurally right for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to first adumbrate the position of government before this matter is debated.
Thank you. Honourable